Yo, so I should definitely not be awake right now, but I figured I'd record a daily updates video because we're about to hit a relatively significant milestone in the history of, I think, most YouTube channels. And that is the 100,000 subscriber mark. So I went to bed pretty late last night. Well, I guess this morning around like 2 a.m. or something like that. And I normally like to get a good 8 or 9 hours, but I just so happened to roll over in bed and, you know, check the time. And I know that we were supposed to hit 100,000 either last night or early in the morning or something. So I grabbed my phone and I was like, just wanted to double check that I was. And it was at like 99,994 or something. And I was like, oh shit, you know what? Cool opportunity to record a video and then personally thank all the people that have supported me over the course of the last year and a bit. So in a nutshell, that's what I want to do while this little timer or a number thing hits 100,000. There are going to be very few opportunities to do stuff like this. So I figured that I might as well take this one, even if the video comes out a little bit weird or unpolished. So 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Pretty cool, obviously. I was chatting about it with a fella named Rob in San Francisco at an event the other day. And we were at this, the Chainsmokers concert thing that this company Bolt organized. And very gracious to them for flying me out and, allowing me to, or giving me the space to meet a bunch of other people like myself. It's very difficult to find people you just click with in life, and I felt that way many, many times. There's 100K. But I was chatting about it with Rob. Oh, and immediately 100,001. I was chatting about it with Rob, and at that concert, there were probably, I don't know, like 500 or 1,000 people or something of that nature. And Rob was talking to me about a video that he had posted, I guess probably like a few weeks before then, that I think it hit over 100,000 people. And I was chatting with him about the watch time. He was more interested in the views, I think, but I was really interested in the watch time. And he said something along the lines of, hey, how many people here? Maybe like 1,000. So my video got 100,000 views. Then I was like, well, I guess that's kind of like if you sat down every single person here and then had a 6-minute long conversation with them, because that was the average watch time I was assuming, and then multiplied that by 100. Isn't that just an insane amount of distribution and leverage? Like, isn't that just an insane platform to put what you want to put out there into the world? And he agreed, and we proceeded to bob our heads as nerds do to some music that neither of us probably listened to outside of that exact situation. So it's kind of neat to think about. 100,000 people is a lot to sub, and obviously the subscribers that watch your content, they don't watch every one of your videos, but to have access to that group of people who are presumably aligned with what you're doing and generally probably like you, like I don't think a lot of the 100,000 subs that are part of my channel like hate me or something, is pretty incredible. And I got to feel that firsthand just going somewhere at a tech event where a lot of people sort of knew who I was and were interested in similar things. Because the number of people that came up to me and then just thanked me for creating the content was crazy. And the looks in their eyes too was something else that I don't think I'll ever forget. Because it's one thing when somebody that doesn't know you comes up to you and introduces themselves. But basically all of the people that came up to me, that look in their eye made me feel like we were already friends, if that makes sense. YouTube is cool because it's like, it's this great platform, obviously for business leverage and whatnot, but it's also, especially the sort of content that I make, what you end up with at the end of all of it is you end up with basically a bunch of these parasocial relationships with people. Like, and I don't mean this in the bad way or the poor context in which parasocial is usually said. Like, it has a negative connotation. But when you talk just long form like this for long enough, the people on the other end of the line, like they, if they talk to people for 5 hours of their day and, you talking at them is 30 minutes of that 5 hours, that's like 10% of their day. That's 10% of all the relationships that they have. You actually become like a pretty important figure in their lives. You know how they say that you are the average of the 5 people you spend your time with, right? Well, I think these parasocial relationships actually do kind of slot in there. So, what was really interesting to me is when all these people came up to me, they had that look in their eyes where it was as if we were already friends, and that happened very rarely to me up until that point. And being able to just get it, I think was really cool, and I'm very immensely grateful for that. So yeah, 4 years and a bit ago, I was on government welfare um, during COVID-19, granted. Although before then, it's not like I was in the most privileged of financial positions anyway. I don't remember what my income was, but it was somewhere in the order of a few thousand Canadian dollars per month. And then, yesterday, well, not yesterday, a week ago, I counted something like 100 people in a row while I was out on a walk. And I said, wow, like I'm producing more economically than all 100 of those people. And just 4 and a bit short years ago, I was producing a fraction of a single one of those people. So I think that's a testament to just like the power of media as leverage. Naval always talks about the multiple different forms of leverage: code, media, and people. I've gotten to see firsthand just how insane the media leverage side of things has been. And also just like the amazingness of the internet in general. Of just me talking alone in a room to a camera has led to more serendipity and cool things happen than I ever could have expected. So yeah, just immensely thankful, immensely grateful for that. Immensely surreal to see, obviously my personal financial situation change, but I think more importantly, the impact that I've been able to drive. I was also with Nate Herc, who some of you will be familiar with, who creates content on a relatively similar set of topics to me, N8N and AI automation and whatnot. He was invited out to the event as well, and we basically took yesterday and just got to hang out together. Walked all the way up and down the Embarcadero, I think it's called. Went to a couple of few spots. Visited went through a Waymo, which is hilarious because it's like the autonomous self-driving cars. And Nate and I were remarking about what a missed opportunity it was. We could have like made AI automations in a fully AI automated car, and he was like, "That would have been a banger video." But anyways, I was chatting over it with Nate Herc as well, and we were just remarking on like the multiplicative nature of all of this stuff. And yeah, what's really interesting is I bet you in 5, 10, or 15 years, some of the people that we were able to help today with AI and automation will probably end up being like industry leaders in their fields in their own right, or big content creators, or I don't know, they'll be quote unquote movers and shakers in like their own industries. And a portion of their ability to get into these industries will have directly been because of us. And so the way that I see it is it's like a giant, can I draw on here or do I not have the app? It's basically like, if we're here over the course of the next few years, and I don't have my tablet today, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we help a couple of people change their thinking or start implementing technology. And then they help a couple of people themselves change their thinking or change the technology that they use. And then they help a couple of people, and so on and so on and so on and so forth. So that even if in terms of the number of nodes, I'm pretty far removed from the ultimate impact, which, probably going to be way, way, way down here if you think about it, this big, I guess, binary tree, it's probably the representation of this. The bottommost level of that is going to end up being hundreds, thousands, millions, potentially billions of people, assuming this technology, persists and continues to grow. And that's with our current level of distribution, right? Yeah, that's with our current level of distribution. That's not even taking into account future distribution. So I think expressed as that, Nate was telling me that he just constantly feels this pressure, and he can't really put his finger on it, but there's like this pressure where it's like, there's a very short period of time in which you can meaningfully probably have this impact. And so he feels motivated to act on it every second of every day. And I feel somewhat similar. There probably is a very short period of time to actually have a helping hand in the transition to a more efficient economy. And then, there's this constant pressure that like, because you have this short period of time, you sort of have to go all in. And I've just gone all in over the last year or so. And I've gotten to see firsthand the impacts of it, and then also gotten to just reason about the potential future impacts, which has been cool. So yeah, guys, just wanted to thank everybody here that has been watching not only these videos, but obviously the videos on the main channel. It's kind of surreal to see that growth, as I mentioned. And I never would have thought the first few videos that I made of me quite cringily immediately after, I don't know, I just sign a big invoice or whatever. I'm going to make a video. And then I turn on the camera and just yap, usually in a tank top with questionable attire on. I never would have thought that those videos would have led this far for sure, but I consider myself an opportunist. So when I see an opportunity, I like to jump on it. And I think that's what I did here. So yeah, just very, very grateful for the comments that you guys were leaving on that very first video and the subsequent videos after that, and just the insane level of positivity I constantly get from you guys and, everybody else that I've managed to create content for. Yeah, there's a reason why everybody says that my comment threads are botted, you know? Everybody's like, the most botted comment thread on planet Earth. And it's like, these are actually just people that, I hope they're just people that genuinely find value in the things that I was doing. But yeah, you don't get that sort of thing on a lot of people's pages. Let's just put it that way. All right, cool. So now that I am done pontificating for a full 10 minutes without providing you guys any value whatsoever, let's go to the community tab and let me answer a few questions. And I'm just going to wrap it up from there. Okay. All right. We got a couple of great comments. One from Maze VLY. Would you recommend adding cold calling into the outreach methods? Really lock into my outreach. Spend too much time trying to learn every little thing. Maze VLY is obviously talking about cold calling in addition to things like cold email, in addition to things like Loom videos, in addition to maybe cold DMs and so on and so forth for the AI automation agency business model. Would I recommend adding cold calling to the stack? No, I don't really think so. And Trevor Anderson, I think, has watched a previous video of mine on the subject. But to make a long story short, when you cold call, there are very few of your cold calls ever actually make it to like a qualified prospect on the other end of the line, which is quite unfortunate. But let's say you do 100 cold calls, and I used to do 50 to 80 a day, usually way back when I was doing the door-to-door, right around the time I was telling you guys that I was on government welfare, right before then. So let's say you do 100 cold calls, okay? Of the 100 cold calls, probably 50% of those cold calls, 50 of them, are just going to be like disqualified right off the bat. Of the 100 cold calls you're going to do, maybe like 20 or 30 just won't pick up for one. Another 30 or so, maybe they'll just pass you to the secretary, or they'll just like be routed directly to like a front office or something that doesn't actually involve the decision maker. The ones that actually do make it through that initial filter, that might actually land on a decision maker's phone, and they might actually pick up and want to speak with you. Those ain't so good either. Most of the time, the person is like either extraordinarily busy or they just dismiss you out of hand. And then of the remaining, I don't know, 20 or 30 or something, that's really where you have the ability to make your pitch, right? So the reason why I don't recommend cold calls is because of that synchronous nature. So much of the calls are a byproduct of just timing and not actually like your skill and your ability to present and your ability to, I don't know, press a pain point and offer a solution. In reality, all cold outreach is going to fall prey to this. But there are a few alternatives nowadays that I think are just way better. And the big one that I recommend instead of cold calling is I basically treat customized video recordings as like the new cold calls. But I consider them better than cold calls for a number of reasons. Because if you think about it, the vast majority of the time, these decision makers, so like the owner of some big company or whatever, they're still going to be checking their email inbox, okay? They almost always check their email inbox. I don't think a lot of them check their voicemail now, but they're almost always going to be checking their email inbox. And believe it or not, like big wigs, people that are making hundreds of millions of dollars a month, like they still check their email inbox. They still usually see a lot of the outreach that's sent to them. But it's probably the most private place that they have now, more so than more so than like their phone or whatever. And what's cool about it is, if you were to cold call somebody and try and give them a pitch, they would have to be available to take that. But if you were to send them an email with a customized video pitch, they don't necessarily have to be available right that second to watch that thing and get the value out of it. And I pitch a lot of the time to offer an immense, extraordinary amount of value and then basically make your offer a no-brainer so that if somebody ever gets to the point where they actually read your offer, they're overwhelmingly more likely to just want to respond to it because, we're going to generate you however many leads, or I'm going to, I guarantee you at least this much money, or you don't pay, or I don't know, whatever these crazy no-brainer, insane, are you freaking serious right now? That guy really hasn't thought this through sort of offers are. The whole idea is like the second that you're in the room with them, the second that you get an opened email and they actually read it top to bottom, the likelihood that like they'll actually say yes is pretty high. Same thing with the Loom videos, of course. So that's what we're optimizing for, okay? We're basically optimizing for, let's get as many people reading this as humanly possible. And then if you're doing cold calling, that's a synchronous method. So it requires that both parties be basically available to like at least like look at the offer, you to talk about it, and then them to, evaluate it. But with cold email, even when your ephemeral call gets hung up on, the offer is still there in their inbox. And eventually, a lot of people will get to it, a much higher proportion of people than before. If you think about it, in our increasingly fractured and globalized society, where I'm working with people that are in 5 time zones east of me, and people 8 time zones east of me are working with people 2 time zones, 1 time zone west of me. This makes sense because when you call, you're much less likely to be guaranteed a pickup unless you are operating in their time zone, which is obviously very inconvenient. So these customized Loom videos are basically just the evolution of that. There are a bunch of other benefits as well. Loom videos don't actually require you to be good on the phone, to be honest. And being good on the phone is another massive skill that you need to spend a large amount of time to figure out. You don't have to do crazy hard sales because the person is free to just click off the video anytime they want. Humans don't have that same feeling during a phone call. They sort of feel obligated to stay, and it's kind of disruptive and interruptive. So there are a lot of other reasons why I like Loom videos, but as a beginner, I think that there's probably nothing better that you could do all day. I think if you were tasked with cold calling versus doing the Loom videos, I might actually say, 100 Loom videos or 100 cold calls. I might actually say, do the 100 Loom videos. You'll probably end up a better consultant by the end of it, even if there's no back and forth. Okay, your dad who left says, hey, I'm using Make. How do you implement the workflow in a business? Like, I make the automation, then how do I hand it over to the client? Excuse me. Normally what you do is you create the automation inside of the scenario builder. So sorry, you will get started working with the business, and then they'll give you some money, and then that'll be your transformation event. So they're no longer just a lead or a prospect. Now they're like a client of yours, right? They've like officially made it to the client designation, right? It's like somebody graduating from school, right? They're officially a doctor or something. So now they're officially a client of yours. The second that they're officially a client of yours, you have to do some sort of kickoff call where you, educate them on the next steps and get them super excited and hyped. What you do is on that kickoff call, you also get them to sign up to make.com for you. You walk them through the sign up process step by step. You might have a little document side by side. You might have some screen sharing going on. You might queue up everything for them, so it's really easy. But you actually have them sign up to the environment for you. And then the value is once they've signed up to the environment for you, now you have an environment that you can build in. And then when you deliver the automation, when you build it out in their environment, when you deliver it, usually do some sort of video that you'll record, walking them through what the automation looks like, telling them how to get to it, how to find it. And then believe it or not, the actual automation is less important than the thing that it produces. The deliverables are the most important thing in any automation because those are the things that customers kind of conceptualize. To be honest, most customers don't care about the automation itself because the automation is something in the cloud. It's something that's not immediately tangible. What they care about is, what does it do? Does it generate leads? Okay, great. So what do the leads look like? Where are the leads being put? Does it create me content? Okay, so what's the content look like? Is it a Google Doc? Is it a WordPress post? Is it something that is tangible that is generated? Is it PDF? Is it printed from is it faxed over to me, right? That's the sort of stuff they care about. So when you're optimizing your automations, or optimizing your business, I should say, optimize for, don't optimize for the automations, actually optimize for the deliverables. Okay, Levinto AS is just a quick cue. I'm currently doing Loom outreach, practicing my English pronunciation. Will it be better just to send manual email or send 15 imperfect Loom videos a day? I'm scared the Loom record effort isn't worth my time because of my English. Currently in high school and purchasing anything above $20 is hard. Well, I think this is a great question. Wow, we get a lot of guys from high school recently. That's exciting. I'm not going to lie. Is there really anywhere better that you could practice your English pronunciation? I don't know. That seems like a pretty good opportunity to me to get really, really good at English. I do understand you wanting to send a lot of manual email as opposed to Loom videos a day. And listen, your manual emails will probably imply fewer things about your imperfect English than actually pronouncing things over a Loom video. But yeah, Loom videos seem to me like a good opportunity for that, right? Also, it's not mutually exclusive. You could just do both. So why don't you just send 5 Loom videos a day and then the other 10 make them really detailed manual emails? No need to just pick one or the other. All right. Not automating responses to new leads. Wasn't that one of the S tier systems you recommended? Further, if the business were to sell that as a service when customers find it hypocritical, if the business didn't use their own automation to respond to new leads. I don't know why I didn't like this. Weird. Just like disappeared. Yeah, it's a good point. Wasn't it called the automated lead response? Yes, yes, yes. Responding to clients within 60 seconds has shown a significant increase in onboarding. Maybe Nick could benefit from providing some cited sources. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know the specific study, but that's a good idea. I probably will. I think every time I mention this, I mention that like Alex Hormozy stated it in one of his videos that if you respond to a lead within 60 seconds, you get a 396% increase in, at the bottom of the funnel, the conversion rate. But I usually hedge against this by saying like, this is obviously particular to like a specific industry,? So I don't know what that industry is. It's probably some sort of local service business. That said, it seems logical to me that that would apply to more or less all businesses. Probably not with the same strength. It's probably not 396% across the board. But yeah, like very few things in business will give you 4 times the revenue. So when you find something in business that gives you 3 or 4 times the revenue, typically you want to do the shit out of that. So anyway, your question is good, but you're also just making it another false exclusive. I'm seeing a lot of this here. Like everybody sees, well, it's one thing or the other, right? So it's either I automate the responses to new leads or I don't get back to them within 60 seconds. And it's like, no, we're not saying that at all. This is a false dichotomy. I'm not telling you that you have to automate responses to leads or get back to them after a minute. I'm saying you should not automate responses to leads and you should still get back to them within 60 seconds. So you should have mechanisms in place that are personal and human that allow you to respond to leads within 60 seconds. And ideally what you do is you actually have a phone call. You would actually see a lead come in and then within 60 seconds you would get them on the phone because they want your service now. And a phone is a synchronous and immediately applicable way to get them through your funnel. Let's say you're selling some sort of high ticket coaching offer. Somebody fills out their information on a Facebook lead ads form or something. Okay. You want to call them like literally within that 60 seconds. If you wait more than 60 seconds, they might be on another Facebook ad. They might be looking at pictures of dogs. They might be sending a cat photo to their grandma. You don't want to wait. Is it ideal to have AI do that instead of a person? No. It's ideal for you to have the infrastructure in place to have a team of people or yourself. Literally, the second they fill that out, your phone just starts auto dialing and you give them the ring. That's not realistic for a lot of people, especially people that are working in different time zones, right? So when I was saying this automatic lead response, I was basically saying, yeah, if you don't have the mechanisms in place to have a real human being reach out to these people within 60 seconds, you can use an autoresponder of some kind because that's a good stopgap between, you not reaching out to them at all and then you having some sort of contact. And actually, the way that I recommend you guys do this is I recommend you imply that you're a real human being. And I recommend that you imply that, I'm so sorry, I'm going to give you a ring in a second. I'm just stepping into a garage. Hey, I'm just in the middle of a meeting right now. I got your request. I know you're looking for insert paraphrased version of what they want. Let me give you a ring in just a few minutes. I'm so sorry that I couldn't make it to the phone right now. I'm going to give you a ring. And then I'm also going to give you a bunch of free shit for waiting for me a few minutes, right? The whole value there is when they get the text message, they know that they're being attended to. When they get the message or the call or whatever the heck you're sending, they know that they're being attended to. And then they can stop looking for that solution from other people. I mean, how many times have you guys tried booking your own salon appointments or something like over the phone? Like when I was hiring a cleaner for the place that I moved out of, I guess like 3 places ago. Jesus, I've lived in a lot of places. I opened up Google and I said cleaners in Calgary. And then I got the first one and then I reached out to the first one. And then they didn't respond to me immediately within like 5 seconds. So I was like, all right, well, I got to reach out to the second one, I guess. Reach out to the second one, reach out to the third one, reach out to the fourth one. Fourth one, immediately call back. Like immediately. So what did I do? I worked with those guys. Makes sense, right? Hence the 400% or 396% increase in conversion rate. Okay, Jack is doing some shit on me. Your main channel, YouTube content, is getting worse over the last few weeks. You only care about your beginner content machine. You're not innovating at your actual age. Speaking of business owners enough or building enough automations. Well, I do speak to business owners all the time. I do speak to business owners all the time. Maybe I don't document it, but I'm speaking to way more business owners now than I was before. But I feel like this is all subjective, man. The building enough automations. Building more automations is what you want. Innovating at my AI agency is what you want. And also, to be honest, I really haven't been innovating at my AI agency ever. Like the agency model is pretty old. The agency model's been around for like the last 60 years, right? So I've never really innovated at my AI agency, Jack, and there's no real need to innovate at an agency. It's a very well established business model. I've just kind of taken that thing that's really established, maybe iterated on it a little bit, but then I just pumped it over and over and over and over again. So I do feel you on some of the, like no content exists in a vacuum. When people provide feedback to this nature, obviously, a lot of creators want to dismiss it out of hand and be like, no, I'm the shit. You have no idea what you're talking about. I'm awesome. And everybody else saying that I'm awesome. But obviously there's some truth inherent in any sort of feedback, especially people that have watched me for a long time, like you're suggesting that you have. So I'm just going to take the feedback as, there's a small technical portion of my audience, more technical portion of my audience that probably wants me to just do more building and less maybe talking about the business side of things. But I also have to weigh the profitability against the massive influx of new people that are coming into the space who are very uneducated in the business side of things that just need some straightforward guidance. And I think that like my recent anti-hype videos have probably been like the most valuable things I could have been doing for myself and for them. So I got it, man. Yeah, I get where you're coming from, but hopefully you see where I'm coming from as well. All right. Griffith says, I've been using your N8 and Upwork AI agent for the last 10 to 20 days. Successfully made more than 1,000 in opportunities and 600 active paying clients. Hell yeah, my brother. Is this video here? Yep, I remember the one. That's the one that I refunded everybody that bought the N8 and Upwork AI agent because I wasn't confident it was very good. But I'm glad that you're using it and you're finding success. This is the last question I'll answer, by the way. While finding Upwork jobs, I've encountered dozens of job posts that need some automation that I'm confident I can do. And I also have some previous work related to them. But I generally don't have the time to take screenshots and explain it to them, to people even asked to make videos. And that leads me to leave the opportunity. Can you please make a video making an Upwork agent similar to your previous one, but somewhere where I can upload some previous work, screenshots or videos that works, and that AI agent can mention it in the Google Doc or even the CV. If you don't want to make a video on that, then please represent how that will work in the video that you are making. You need some sort of upload feature. And to be honest, I don't remember if you could do this inherently, like natively in an agent. Yeah, it'd be cool if you had some upload feature, right? Oh boy. That's not, sorry, I just got to put my mic down. Unfortunately, I'm working with limited. My yesterday's YouTube video, I literally was holding my microphone in a toilet paper roll. So I'm not going to do that this time. Okay. Hopefully that worked. And it unfortunately has pretty crappy UX. So I don't know if, yeah. So let's see here what's going on. Actually, you know what? I probably have the Upwork AI agent right here, right? Upwork. I build Upwork AI agent. I think I had 3 of these. And then I had some subflows, generate the Google Doc, generate the Upwork. Okay, I'm just going to do the parent Upwork agent, simplest agent of all time, as you guys could see. This is what the prompt looks like, just so we're all on the same page. Now, if I chat with us, sorry, I need to host this somewhere. Let's just use the hosted version. Oh, am I using the production URL? Good God, man. That's pretty annoying. It has been a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Nathan. So, let me just turn my screen here, just in case I have something extraordinarily, okay. No, yes, I actually did have something super sensitive. That's really funny. Oh, yeah, somebody's ID that they sent me. I'm glad I did not publish that. Okay, so just gonna screen share this again. Doesn't seem like I can drag and drop a file in here. So N8 and, I remember there was some way to do this. Let me see. You're trying to upload it directly, right? No. Yeah, I don't think there's any way the N8N AI agent immediately works with files in the chat, unfortunately. And that includes screenshots, right? So, yes. I think that's a really good support request. Now, there are a variety of triggers you could use for a flow. You could have some sort of additional, let me see. You know what you could do instead of this, man? Well, this is annoying though. Like you could set it up so that this agent works with a link, right? So maybe, this is like an N8N cloud link, but maybe it's just a link that you send. And then what it does is it actually goes through and then it like downloads the file at the link. You could totally do that. And then in the prompt, you just say, hey, like if there is a file link, then I want you to download the link by calling this HTTP request node. But I don't think there's any way to deal with it natively. And to be honest, I don't know if I'd even do this, man. Like, I'm going to be real. I don't know if we're at the point where you'd pass that through and then it would pass that to some sort of vision node. And then the vision node would like evaluate the flow that you're building and then it'd find a way to weave that in. Like, I get that that's obviously important to you, but is there another way you could accomplish the same thing? Maybe. Anyway, just doing some brainstorming out loud here. Yeah, probably if you did want to have that solution, you'd probably have to use one of those screenshot tools that automatically uploads it and then generates a link for you. There are a variety of screenshot tools that do this. I was actually on Twitter. I used to use one of those on Twitter, actually, just like a few months back. I forgot the name of it. The specific tool, but maybe get one that does that. Like basically when you do a screenshot, it'll automatically go through the back and upload to like Imager or something, not Imager, but an Imager equivalent. Then it'll give you the link. Then what you could do is you could build an HTTP request route directly into your agent where when you paste the link in, it just identifies the link and you say, hey, if somebody pastes a link in, call this tool. And then it calls that tool and then it downloads the image and then it runs the image recognition and then spits the result back at you. It's probably what you would want to do. Although to be honest, I don't really think this is the most sensical thing to do. And I don't know if I would do it personally. So yeah, you might just want to like get those case studies down pat and just find a way to weave them into your stuff. This would probably save you like 10 seconds per application or something relative to you just having to do it all manually. Alternatively, one thing that I've done before is I've enumerated all of my case studies, like every single case study that I've ever made, I've enumerated. And then in the thing that generates the Google Doc proposal, CV text and stuff like that, I just have it go through a database of all of these case studies and say, hey, I want you to pull the most relevant case studies and then weave that into the first few lines. That's something that you could probably do that I think would allow you to achieve the same result without even needing to spend any time at all, not even screenshotting. So I think my solution is even better than your solution. How about that, huh? Okay, the brand stats here, I think it's pretty abundantly clear where we've gotten to. Did I not do my brand stat? Oh my goodness. I feel like I uploaded the daily update. Anyway, we're a little bit off here with travel and whatnot. Hope it's clear that travel can be very damaging to consistency if you're not careful. Okay, so we're at 100,031 now. So I'll go here and I'll go 100,031. Just hit the 100K. Awesome. Cool that I could do it live with you guys. Then I will do Blast Up. Yeah, we'll do Blastoise. Hello, Blastoise. 135. 370. So paste that in over here. Instagram grew a little bit. Doesn't look like it grew a lot. And my main daily updates channel here. Go back to analytics. It's apparently 5,009. So I think more important than the 100K that I hit on the main channel, it's the 5,000 that I hit on the daily updates channel, which I'm pretty stoked about. Okay, I gotta be honest, the whole me doing live work and whatnot while holding a microphone in one hand is pretty rough. I don't really think I'll have any, I don't really think there's a way for me to do that here for the next couple of days. I don't actually know how I'm gonna record my YouTube videos. So maybe that's the one piece of strategy I'm gonna need to sort out. I have a little camera set up right over there. And I don't really have any good lights or anything. Just due to the timing, I couldn't bring all of my equipment. And let this be a lesson to you guys. The one most important thing to bring if you are a content creator traveling and trying to create content while traveling isn't actually the camera. It's lighting, because lighting can help just standardize any location, make it look half decent. But in my case, I have like a big window over there, which I've now drawn the blinds of. But, if I shoot on the desk, I'm shooting towards the window. So I have a bunch of window backlight and I just don't have enough lights to make that look good. So maybe I have to record in the other direction. But then what am I going to do? Like lie on my bed like a schoolgirl with her legs in the air? My buddy actually recommended that I do that. Not entirely sure how I'm going to sort this out, but I will. Maybe I'll put the microwave. Man, it's so hacky. Me with a toilet paper roll and a microphone inside of it. But I'll probably put like my microwave there and then put my computer on top of my microwave, use my bed as a desk, and then use the natural lighting. Oh boy. At least you can only see what's in front of the camera, not behind, right? Okay, guys. That's my live strategy for the day. Thank you very much for watching. Again, so immensely grateful to have 100,000 people that follow that main channel, and immensely grateful for all of your continued encouragement and feedback. It keeps me going, honestly. I like to think that I don't need external validation in order to do the thing that I think is right, but goddamn does external validation help. Let me tell you, it's crazy. Like, to just have so many people be like, keep doing this, keep doing this, keep doing this. I can't tell you how much that has helped me keep doing things. Looking forward to tomorrow. Catch y'all.